What's up, guys? It's me, Shon-Jhon, aka the Middleman CEO. Welcome to the channel. So today I got a very special video I'm doing for a lot of you because I always talk about housing prices, interest rates, mortgage rates, and how houses are, houses can put you in financial purgatory for a very, very long time because the average mortgage term is 30 years. And so I've done some videos recently, and I've gotten some good feedback, and I've gotten some good and bad comments. But listen, let me start off by saying I do not tell you to never buy a house. Grant Cardone says never buy a house, right? So if you want to learn how to never buy a house, you need to watch Grant Cardone, which is a South Louisiana boy like me. He's from Lake Charles. I'm from Baton Rouge. So he moved out of Louisiana. I moved out of Louisiana. He's in Florida. I'm in Texas. Go figure, right? But I like GC because, he first put me into the mindset of, a house being a liability. Robert Kiyosaki says that a house that you live in is a liability, not an asset. And that helped to mold my belief system today. And so I just share it with you so you can you can probably get reprogrammed if you want to. And Dave Ramsey says you should buy a house because it is an asset and it appreciates in value. So you have three opposing views. You have Grant Cardone, who says you should never buy a house. You have Dave Ramsey, who says you should buy a house because it is a good purchase. And then you have me, who says you should not buy a house unless. So if you look behind me, guys, I told you I would take you on this journey of having my house built. So this is my house. It's under construction. This is, well, you can see some of the house in the back. We're living here in Dallas. Well, outside the city, but I just call it Dallas anyway. So we're living here in Dallas, brand new upcoming neighborhood. In fact, I'm right across the street from the brand new amenity center. My house literally is across the street. That's why we could not pass up this property, because it's on a corner. There's a lake in front of me. There's a lake to the side of me. And there's an amenity center, which is like, if you guys live in neighborhoods with amenity centers, it's going to be off the chain. I heard we're going to have indoor pools and all that, and you guys will get to see the journey. But what a blessing to be able to walk my kids across the street right into the lakes, canoe, kayak or whatever they want to do, fish. My son likes to fish, and this is nuts. Y'all going to laugh at this. My son likes to go fishing with me. He's 4, Weston's 4, and he brought a towel one day, and I was like, Wes, okay, good. The towels dry off our hands because fish are stinky, right? Because fish stink. And he said, no, it's to keep the fish dry. I was like, what? He was like, yeah, when the fish come out, they're all wet. We're going to dry them off. Just thinking about that makes me laugh. But anyway, I thought that was cute. And so they're going to build a beautiful amenity center here. And if you want to see the neighborhood, right now I live in a master plan neighborhood, which is amazing, but we're moving to another one. And just can't wait to see, what everything's going to become in the future. But this is a very new neighborhood. We're one of the first few homes here, so it's going to be an awesome experience. And this behind me is the best house I've ever had in my life, the best house anybody in my family's ever had, because nobody's ever had anything. Getting a home, being a homeowner, buying a house was never something was discussed in my household because there was no money. Unless they were giving a house away, there was no money. Unless it was a door prize at a baby shower, it was never happening, right? Unless you can win it at bingo, we won't get it. And till this day, my mom still rents, and she probably always will for the rest of her life, unless one of us are able to put together a bunch of money and buy a house, which is my dream. So this is our home, 3,500 square feet, 4 bedrooms, movie room. It's called a movie room. I call it the hideaway room, so I'm probably going to be hiding from the kids. But next to the movie room, the theater room, is a big open upstairs playroom space, a game space. And so I know if you guys have kids, especially young kids, I already know toys are going to be in the movie room. Candy's going to be in the movie room. It won't be a movie room until 5 years from now. It'll just be a private playroom for the kids. I already know, but I'm still holding out the hope that I'll be able to go in there quietly and watch movies. And So 3,500 square feet. Upstairs, downstairs, 24-foot ceilings. If it was, it looks like a lot of construction's going on, so I don't want to walk over there now, but one day I'm going to take you on a tour so you can see how beautiful the house is as they build it if you guys want to learn. I don't know anything about real estate. I bought a house in 2020, sold it in 2022. That's all I know. Made a lot of money. That's all I know, but that wasn't even a plan. The reason we sold the house is because it was worth a lot more than we paid for it, and it was worth more than what it was worth, right? And somebody's willing to pay us for it. And the goal for our family was not to be homeowners. It was financial freedom. So amen to that. Hit subscribe, hit thumbs up. Welcome to the channel. Really quickly, if you guys want to get into the free live training where I teach you how to build a business from your phone, because that's how I bought this house. So let's talk about it. All you have to do is put Middleman in the comments below, or click the link in the video description below to get registered for the free training. And I'll teach you personal finance and then how to buy a house with your phone. Literally, you can do it. And so we sold the house, and we knew it would be a 2-3 year journey before we got back into another house, even 5, and we were comfortable with that. But this opportunity came, and we took advantage of it. So again, the opposing views. Dave Ramsey, buy a house. It's a great idea. It always goes up in value. Well, I'll challenge that, because the house that I bought and sold in 2022 lost $100,000 in value in 1 year. So where's the value? It's never going to go back up to what it was, because it should have never been that high. A lot of you are watching and you go, and buying a house is just ridiculous. Who can afford it? Exactly. That's why you don't buy it with your job, right? So you buy it with your phone. And so Dave Ramsey says, hey, a house is a good investment, always goes up in value. John Hope Bryant said that too, which shocked me. But again, I guess in a way it doesn't, because a lot of these people are older than you and I, and they grew up in a time where houses appreciated. Unfortunately, well, fortunately for some and unfortunately for others, if you sold your house in the past 4 years, you made a bunch of money. If you bought a house in the past 4 years, you didn't. You probably lost a bunch of money, because there's not going to be equity. Well, there will be equity. There's equity in every house, but it's going to be negative equity, which nobody talks about. I keep it real on this channel. There's going to be negative equity. The family that bought our house bought it for $700,000. They can only sell it now for $600,000. They lost $100,000 in equity, and that was a year ago. So I don't know what it is now, but they can only sell it for $600,000. They lost $100,000 in equity. The reason I know that is because I have a friend, Matt. Shout out Matt. Matt's a realtor, and he ran the comps for me a year ago, and I was just curious. So $100,000 was lost. They'll never regain that, and so. And I don't know if they care about it or not, but they'll never get that. So, but I'm just showing to you that houses don't always go up in value. They do go down. It's just that no one talks about it. But it is a realistic chance that it will go down. So I'm just keeping it real. Grant Cardone says, don't buy a house ever, rent where you live. I love that, because he's keeping it real. He's being honest. That you can just rent where you live and keep moving around. There are a lot of people who rent. In fact, this is a nation of renters for a plethora of reasons. And I'm okay with that, because Grant knows what he's talking about. I've been through that before we could afford a house. There are a lot of people out there now where it's cheaper to rent, a lot of places where it's cheaper to rent than it is to buy. So I understand it. And so you realistically, you gotta your home buying dreams got to be put off for the next 5 years. That's how crazy it is right now. It's nuts. And so I'm okay with that. If you want to rent and never buy a house, I'm okay with that. I always say, look, if you're not going to buy the house and you save up the money, use the money to create cash flow. Now, what do I say? All right, I say it's okay to buy a house, because I know I'm going to get a lot of comments say, Shon, wait a minute, dude, you're sitting in your truck in front of your house that's being built, and you just told us on the previous video to never buy a house. That's not what I said. I said never buy a house, comma, if your paycheck is your only source of income. So never buy a house if the way that you're going to pay for it is with the paycheck. Because if I'm going to buy this house with a paycheck, then what does that mean for my family and I? It's a 30-year mortgage. What does that mean for my family and I for the next 30 years? We need a paycheck. So the trade-off is, sure, you get the house, but now you're obligated to have a paycheck for the next 30 years. Do you really want to sacrifice 30 years just to buy a house? You can rent this house, Well, no, I don't want to have a 30-year obligation to own a home. I don't want to do that. So I don't even have a job, right? My wife has a part-time job, right? And you guys watch my videos, you know, she semi-retired in January. So I started a business, a Middleman moving company in 2020, and we've been growing the business. And when this year started, we were making enough money where we did not need her paycheck anymore. So I told her, hey, you don't have to work if you don't want to. We make enough money to be able to live a good life. We're not rich. We're not balling out of control. I hope we get there one day, because the Bible says leaving wealth for generations of your family is a good thing. So I want to be a good person, right? And so I want to leave that stuff. So there's nothing wrong with being rich or being wealthy. We're not there yet. So I'm just an average guy. I did pretty well in the last 4 years, more money than I've ever made in my life. Other than that, my wife's contributed. She held the family down until I was able to get my business going. And by the way, I teach that now. So put Middleman in the comments. I'll teach you how to use your phone to make money. So I created a business where I started, because I used to move people, right? Go out and move you if you want to move from one house to the other. That's how I made money. And so what I started doing is I started Middleman. I was like, I'm tired of doing all this moving. My body's hurting. No. So there are other companies that I knew here in Dallas, and I started booking the customer, taking the deposit, and then dispatching the work to them. And I started small. I didn't know what I was doing. I was just a customer reach out, say, hey, I need to get moved. I say, okay, it's going to be this amount, $150 deposit. They pay it. I put it in my bank account through my Stripe account. Take the payment over the phone, send the work to a friend of mine. Hey, Courtney, I got some work here Saturday. You guys want it? Yeah, we'll take it. Keep the money. I already got paid. And then it started booming and booming and taking off and taking off. And I was like, wait a minute. I told my wife, I was like, I got to get serious about this. So the first year, 2020, I made 77 grand. Not bad, but I never left the house. I know it's not, I wish I could tell you it was 700. It wasn't. And so all of a sudden, after a few years, I ended up growing the business significantly with a lot of help. And so I still own the business today, where I'm middleman for other moving companies. I just find customers because they don't want to find customers. They just want to do the work. I take a deposit from the customer, send the work to them. I'm done. And so you can middleman. Think about this. You can middleman almost any service industry. If you know anyone who does pressure washing, you could find customers for them. Window tinting, home cleaning, garage repair. That makes a lot. Website design. Companies that make a bunch of money through middlemaning, they don't do the work. So I middleman, which means I don't actually do the work. I send the work to someone else. So Fiverr, middleman company. Uber does not drive you around, does not pick you up. They simply just middleman you finding somebody and connecting them, and they get paid. Google, Airbnb, all these companies are middleman companies. And so when I started getting the blueprint down, I just started growing. And so I used the money from that. It took a little while, yes. But if you learn how to do it, you're not going to take as long as I did. The reason being is because you're going to learn from someone who knows how to do it now, me. I didn't know how to do it then, and I had no one to teach me, so I had to learn all this stuff on my own. Now I can teach you, right? So get in the class, middleman in the comments, get the link. And by the way, if you don't get the link for the training, that means we're full. Only a certain amount of people, and then we're cutting it off. So move quickly. So now that my middleman business has grown, I use the cash flow from the revenue. Remember, A times C equals L, asset times cash flow equals liability. That's how you buy things. You don't buy things with a paycheck. You don't buy things with debt. You don't buy liabilities with money out of your bank account or anything like that. You use an asset. So my asset is my middleman business. Yours could be anything. It could be an investment. It could be rental properties. It could be vending machines, whatever you choose. Mine just happened to be my middleman moving business. And I have a bunch of students who do moving, home cleaning. I just teach them how to build that business, right? And it's super easy. Just get in the class, middlemanceo.com. And so once my company started making enough money, nothing crazy, but it made enough to buy a house. And so we don't have paychecks. My wife doesn't make enough working 2 days a week. She just does it to stay busy because she likes what she does. Fine. You don't have to retire. Keep your job. And so, but my company made enough money to where we were able to get this house. And I make money through my phone. That's why I tell you, you can use your phone. This is how you use your phone to buy a house. You build a business on your phone, right? Let the business grow and make money. If it take a year, if it take 2 years, fine, right? You're going to live in this house for free. Why? Because the business pays for this house, not me. So if you rent this house, if you rent a house out, your tenant pays for the house, not you. That's a free house. My business pays for the house, not me. So if I don't go to work for a month, who cares? My business still makes money and still cover the bills. That's why I always say, if you're going to buy a house, just don't buy it with a paycheck, because it's going to tie you to a job for 30 years. The better way would be pump the brakes on buying a house, get an asset, take money out of your bank account. It's dead anyway. Take it out of the grave, the bank, put it into an investment, put it into something, start a middleman business, start a business, let the business grow, come back in a year or 2 or 3 years, then buy your dream house with that. By the way, this is not our dream house. The next one's going to be nuts, right? But the next one's going to be something serious, probably in the next 5-10 years, you'll see. But buy your dream house or whatever house you want, and do it using money from your phone, not money from your job. Does that make sense? Somebody let me know what your opinion is, because I see a lot of videos. People are like, housing prices are through the roof. You know why? Housing prices are nuts. I can't buy a house. You know why? Because you're trying to buy the house with a paycheck. I guarantee you, if you didn't have to buy the house with a paycheck, you'd be out here looking at homes ready to buy a house. You know why? It seems like it's a hard process, because you're paying for it with your life. You're selling your life at a job to get a paycheck. You're selling it by the hour to get a paycheck. And now that you have to sell your life to get a paycheck, whatever you buy, it feels like you're buying it with your life. So the better way to approach it would be, hey, let an asset pay for this. What are you going to buy? You're going to buy a house? How are you going to pay for it? Don't say paycheck. You cannot say paycheck. How are you going to pay for it? Right? Middleman Business. Want to buy that new Mercedes? Love it. Beautiful. 80 grand. How are you going to pay for it? Don't say job. You have to say something else. And that's how you get creative, and that's how you change your life. Right? For everybody who wants to be in the training, put the word middleman in the comments below, or click the link in the description below. I got to get going. Have a wonderful, blessed day, guys, and I'll see you on the next video. Peace.